Who am I and who are you? The ultimate questions for who we are as whole beings experiencing on this earth in this human journey. And to find the answers to these questions, we are going to be sitting down and exploring the minds for the wisdom and knowledge of the layers that make up our beings. From the mind, to the emotions, to the body, and to the astral with the light body. We will be exploring these different multi-dimensional aspects of who we are as the I Am presence in this world on earth, in the human experience. We'll get to have fun, cracking smiles, and diving deep into the knowledge with different psychics, intuitives, shamans, coaches, teachers, practitioners, and many more different beautiful conscious souls of the everyday life to gather the information we need in order to unravel these layers and become more aware and present in ourself as the whole I Am presence that we are. And I'm very grateful for this and really look forward to the journey. So thank you all for tapping in and being a part of this. And I am your host, Marcus, aka Crystalite, and I will be on this journey with you from the beginning to the end as we travel through the process of clearing layers.
This is why you need to know about your chakras. They're more than just colorful symbols. They're the secret to harmony within. Chakras are energy centers that link your mind, body, and emotions. When balanced, you feel vibrant, connected, and at peace. But if just one is blocked, everything can feel out of sync. Ready to discover how to tune in and realign? Your journey starts here.
A fresh new episode of the process of clearing layers, episode 5 of season 2, Chakra Wave Tuning, a unique, holistic practice designed by shamanic practitioner Lynn, our sacred guest. Join us as we explore our biofield chakras in ways to reattune and bring balance and restoration, as we dive into the layers of the mind, body, emotions, and spirit. This episode will be taking place this Sunday, July 20th, 8 p.m. Eastern, on YouTube, Sacred Light Broadcast Network, on Facebook Live, Crystal Light Robbins. Tap in and tune in. Feel free to comment, like, share, subscribe, to help support the movement. Ashe. So without further ado, our guest on this episode is going to be Heather Thomas, local here in Ohio, and we are going to be exploring the topic and the wonderful modality and passion of her own, very own, unique practice called Chakra Wave Tuning. And without further ado, our divine sister Heather, welcome.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I greatly appreciate it. One love.
How are you today?
I'm wonderful. Couldn't be eclipse season, so.
That's right.
And as you know, let's be honest with my natal transits. I'm being very impacted, very blessed, taking everything that needed to be released. Allowing it to go where it to go, and we're going to focus on what the eclipse season is bringing to us. So a lot of endings and new beginnings, but hey, always the cosmic ride.
That's right. Absolutely. And for everybody out there that is not aware of eclipse season and what that means, do you care to give some insight into what eclipses are and how they kind of can bring different shifts and other experiences into our everyday lives?
Yes. Well, this one particularly I know a lot about, but eclipse season is a time where it's a portal and it's an opportunity to release things that no longer serve you. And a lot of times it's a 2-week portal. So we're going to have one from the 13th, I believe, until the next eclipse, which is the 21st, 22nd, depending on where you're at. And this is a portal where we are being asked to release everything over the past 6 months. So we had one in September. So everything that has happened since September, it was September, October, we're here to release that. And it's just an opportunity for us to shed layers and really get into the death and rebirth process and dive back into the cycles of Mother Earth. And really, she's just asking us right now, cosmically, just to Virgo's asking you to release the perfectionism. That's where it is in the South Node this time. And the North Node, it's in the Pisces. And what it's asking us there is not to escape some of the things that we're being faced with. We're shedding layers.
Mm-hmm.
And
especially to the emotional layer.
Yes. And this is what this is doing. It's impacting everyone. So with my sun in Virgo and my moon in Pisces, this has really been impactful. So it's been a great shift. Just in my experience, just within the past 6 months, just things that I really found, really thought I couldn't live without, have shifted and changed. And I'm just being asked to honor them because the universe knows exactly where they're taking us. And I have to surrender control. And that's what I'm being asked, is just to surrender and know that I'm being led on an amazing journey. So that's my eclipse season. But it can actually have effects for up to 6 months. So we could be feeling the effects of this eclipse season for about 6 months. So, and then we're going to have several over the next year in the Virgo axis points. So
wow. That's very interesting because, we just had not that long ago the node switch,
mm-hmm.
and that's for 18 months. So, wow, with these stacking layers, as time goes on, no wonder why we're feeling so much on so many different levels.
Yes. And I personally have been asked to shed more layers. In fact, I've been asked to go into the void. And so I'm making plans this eclipse season. Tomorrow night, I'm going to go into the void, as I'm being called to do, and to go through an ego death that really is long overdue, and shed some layers and really just dive in and get dirty in what's being asked. And again, it's not for the faint-hearted, but I don't ever walk away from what I'm being asked to do, because I tried and that was more painful. So
I agree with that.
I'm just like, I know so yeah.
Hey, but you've been really, though. You've really been continuing to step up and continue forward into your passions, your gifts. And that's kind of the reason why we're here today, is because you've been doing that work.
Yes.
And now you're here to be in the position to not only, broadcast and give the wisdom to others, but, you also have programs and you have teachings and you have other forms that people can really digest this and use it tangibly and do it almost in like a schooling type of work fashion. And that's pretty amazing in itself. So before we dive into our topic, I just wanted to go over a little bit of this series and how you guys can all support if you guys want to support. And a little bit about the series is called The Process of Clearing Layers. And this is a series that premieres on Sundays. And it's an online TV series hosted by myself. And every episode each Sunday, which you can watch on Instagram Live, Facebook Live, Crystal Light Robbins, as well as Sacred Light Healing and Wellness on YouTube. And in this series, each Sunday we sit down with a different practitioner, coach, shaman, intuitive sidekick, teacher, student, or everyday conscious soul. And these guests and myself, we will be able to have the treat of exploring the knowledge and wisdom that is stored within their wonderful minds. And then through them, we get a more clear understanding of our mental, emotional, physical, and light bodies and how they operate in the mechanics. Along with these strategies and practices we can access to take care of our being in everyday living, we can also expand our awareness on what the restoring or the healing process can look like for us from a micro to a macro level within the layers of our being as we learn their story and to call to passion. This is a time for us to have fun, crack smiles, drop into our hearts together while we learn about who we are. If you feel the call within to be on an episode to talk about subjects like psychology, biology, holistic quantum healing, environmental effects on our being, addiction, metaphysics, meditation, yoga, nutrition, brain rewiring, life coaching, clean water, or even more passions, this is your time to support the cause of spreading knowledge and guidance for awareness of who we are as whole beings, opening doors of self-empowerment and harmony, authentically and collectively. So how can you guys support this intention and cause? Well, you can either do heart-based donations and you can donate towards, and I split it with myself and the guest for the series. And then you can also follow and share Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And then of course, ask questions in the comments or ask questions in any other way. And also add to the subjects too, if you have anything else to add to what we share. We're always open to you guys.
From ancient alchemy to modern wizard sagas, a blue flame shows up whenever truth or transformation is near.
Time matrix. So that probably answers it for a lot of us that have been maybe curious about what the 144 really means in its origin through the Emerald Covenant. And I'm sure some of us naturally in our DNA and through our life have felt integrity. They call upon El Moria in the first blue ray, the blue kyanite, sweet Archangel Michael, the amethyst order of the ancient master builders and architects that are stemming from the Master Christos collection through Newgrange, Ireland, which is a Mother Ark Stargate. Kuan Yin, Mary Magdalene, Archangel Chamuel, Saint Germain, Archangel Zadkiel, Paul the Venetian. And if you want to, you can take a rose quartz or a fluorite, place it on the higher heart, right below the throat, hold it there, and then you can go ahead and take an amethyst. People be on it. but all you have to do is just click on one of these. So you click on Set a Master's Retreat, then it'll take you to the register form. Then you just go ahead and fill out your the raw confederacy that exists in the 7 higher heavens in the next universe, and contacts us through the gold ray of the 14th dimensional stargate. This sound frequency from the 14th dimension that goes by Ra. So Ra is a sound octave vibrational tone. So the Golden Eagle grid is one of our main planetary grid networks, and it is located in Iraq. And what's interesting is you've seen continuous wars when it comes to the Gold Order and the Yellow Flame, Quetzalcoatl, Yeshua Christ, Anubis, Archangel Jophiel, Lord Lantu, Cthulhu, and Lao Tzu. So then what you can do is you can take your crystal for your yellow ray or golden order energy, like a tiger's eye. Go ahead and hold down your solar plexus with your hand.
Tap in and tune in Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern. Live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Grand Rising with Crystal Light. Your sacred space for discovering the Ascended Masters in crystal healing.
So thank you guys for joining us in this journey. And without further ado, we'll now dive into this topic, ChakraWave Attuning. And my first question for you, Heather, is what was your life like when you first came into your self-awakening journey?
Ooh. Well, it's been layers and it's been lots of ego deaths, but how was it like? Ooh, I try to control everything. And I overgave. So it was very, I lived a good life, but the fact that I did not know the limit of my giving, because I'm a natural giver. And with that said, I don't realize when I'm overgiving, or more or less asking the question, why am I giving? Am I giving from a selfless place? Am I giving from something in return? So, lack of better words, my life was really chaotic. I was ungrounded. I was drinking. Let's be honest. I was doing, I did coke, probably some party drugs occasionally, and just not in my highest alignment. And the first thing that called me out was the fact that when I was doing coke, my guides were like, girl, you gotta stop. Like, that's just not for you. And I think that was my first awakening when I went through my divorce back in 2011. Lo and behold, right before 2012. Look at all this timing. All these synchronicities and just divine timing. But 2019, my life was going a little nuts. I was trying to get custody of some friends' children because they were addicts. The girl that cheated on my ex-husband with came in the day because she had one of the kids and I had the other two. And the very last day they were getting ready to go with me, she said that I smoked marijuana. So, yeah, hey, whatever. You knew the whole time. But again, I initially felt very devastated because I knew my dad was passing that year. So, I knew things were going out. I'm trying to call things back in. My daughter's, growing of age. She's about to graduate high school. I was just going through a lot of changes, and I was just trying to hold on to that mommy, that mommy in me. And the overgiving came from the fact that the friends of mine would have tried to come over and still see the kids and not respect my boundaries. So the universe was like, my guys were like, this is not working. So I had to flip the thought about, why is this happening? But that started it. So this was November. My dad passed away December. May of 2020, I wound up walking away from my insurance business. And I was like, what is going on? So everything that I knew was stripped away. And of course, I had a soul contract with a friend. And that was the year that it was actually activated. Lo and behold. So a little bit about soul contracts. But it also activated my Pluto Libra, meaning that I have a Pluto Mars trine, meaning that if it's not in alignment, I'm going to say something because it's not in light. And so I am being guided that my judgments were not necessary during the journey, that, I've had to calm my own judgments. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, that year just kind of lit me up. And then it kind of catapulted from there. So I had to go back to school, rebuild myself. Kind of how I got into this actually was in meditation at my dad's grave. Going to the underground. I'm the weird one that goes to the graveyards and sings to the dead and howls at the dead and does some raise the dead. I mean, I'm not afraid of the void anymore. It is what it is.
That's a whole nother topic for another day. Death. Death is not what it's been made out to be on the mass scale of our programming.
No.
And I've been talking about this lately, people, but it's keeping us humans in places of so many terminologies that you could really use for this. But I mean, you could say it's really keeping people in polarity. It's keeping people in like self-division, keeping people in a feeling and sense of separation. There's just so many things. Fear. I mean, don't even get me started about the fear it creates. And
yes,
I don't want to put a word to it because I don't like to define it, but it's something that I feel deeply, and I just wish that many can just come to that realization of just what things are and the whole reality of things, and it's gonna bring a lot of relief when that day comes.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
It's coming, and this eclipse season is marking it all off. It's gonna start some interesting events. Are going to be positive, but again, we have to shine the light on the underbelly in order to bring it to the light. And that's what we're being called to do right now, and not hold judgment. So that's been a part of my whole journey, because at the end of the day, the judgment was against myself.
Yeah.
So that projection that you're putting to other people, that doesn't fly, because at the end of the day, once you start being accountable for your own healing and your own fears and your own journey, then that, you can't unlearn that.
That's right.
And your guides won't allow you. Like your guides won't allow you. Once you can't unawaken.
Mm-hmm.
So you can quit doing your work, but you're gonna pay for that.
Yep.
Because you just come too far, because it's a constant cycle, of death and rebirth. And one of my programs was, we're going to be together forever and nothing changes, and we're going to grow old and, just live this happy-go-lucky life. And when I was faced with the reality that, no, you are the pioneer, you're the ones that's to break all of these things, these emotional patterns, these addictions, more mental. For me, this lifetime, I've dabbled, but I never got to the full extent where I struggle with addiction with the other drugs like some people do, because for some reason, I just knew there was always that button. But I watched my friends just go completely down. And, when you understand looking back. I'm like, wow.
Mm.
Just all the fear, and that's all that programming. And that's what you're doing is you're masking your fear.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. Thank you for sharing all that. Quite the journey. So as we continue into this, I guess we can go ahead and move into Chakra Wave Tuning, and I believe you wanted to touch a little bit on Reiki as well, right?
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of go over, the benefits of Reiki and how Biofield tuning and Reiki kind of go hand in hand, because they both work with one facet of the body. Okay. So with Biofield tuning, we actually work with the Biofield, which is actually your outer aura. Okay. And it goes out 6 feet. Okay. So when you're working with Biofield tuning, you're working out 6 feet, working in the Biofield. Okay. And what you're doing is you're working with the auric field and the actual emotional body itself. So you're moving the energy up the spinal channel. Now with Reiki, you're just working with the inner body. You're working with all the inner components, all the emotional aspects. So when you're doing the Biofield tuning, it just goes a layer deeper, because what it's doing with the Reiki, you're working with those emotional aspects, but you're not working with the actual Biofield itself. So this is why I created my modality. Okay. Because what I was doing is I was spending $500 to get all these modalities. And let's be honest, I was unemployed, just burnt my insurance business down and, could not afford that. So I wanted to make something that was affordable, because, and I'm a 5'1". I'm just going to be honest. My journey in life is to take all this great divine wisdom and to crunch it down into small, tangible, digestible ways for people to understand. Okay. So again, Reiki promotes the movement of energy within the body, whereas Biofield tuning not only moves the energy within the body, but outside of the Biofield, right? So when we have trauma in the Biofield, okay, and basically the further you go out, was, like long ago, like once you get closer to the body, that's recent. Okay. So as you walk in, let's say, I'll give you an example. I was working with one of my clients, and I got into, what's funny, her Saturn return. When she was 28, I was like, because you're this old, this happened about right here. I was like, do you remember what happened? And she was like, oh yeah. I was like, you don't have to tell me, because that's one thing as a practitioner, is this is just something that I'm here to let you know. This is what I hear in the Biofield. Okay. But that's just one facet, though, of this amazing attunement. Okay. So when I channeled this, I channeled because I was getting acupressure, somatic release, reflexology, and I was interested in Biofield tuning. So I was like, all right. I was guided to put all those together, because each of those by itself is $80 to $120 individually. And I kept getting intuitive hits that I was due to create my own modality, because my guides know how I am. It has to be my own. I feel like I'm a fake if I'm trying to do someone else's thing. It's just something that I'm a Leo rising. So I'm basically supposed to, or North Node, I'm supposed to be taking ownership of some of these things.
Yeah.
So pretty much I combined them all into one modality. And
that's pretty cool.
And it is pretty amazing, because what can happen is I can bring someone in a pretty traumatic state, and not only do the Reiki, because you're also doing Reiki while you're doing, you're still working with both the energy. Since I do both, I'm automatically channeling all of that love, and we're already working in that field. So pretty much what I'm doing is just using the Biofield to basically tune it up like a battery. I'm basically just giving it an attunement. And what I'm doing is the cupping will pull up all of the trauma, because let's be honest, it's the emotion, it's the emotional aspects, and what it comes out is it comes out as a liquid. Okay, so when I do the cupping, it'll come up, it'll pull up toxins, and it looks like a liquid. And what that liquid is basically all of your stored emotions. If you're eating poorly, it could have that as well. But what it's designed to do is release all the stored emotions in the chakra channel. So I will do a complete chakra alignment with the cups, and then I'll come in with the Biofield tuning. And I'll start with my rattle. I'll start with the feet and I'll go up with my rattle, because what I'm doing is I'm breaking up the myofascia tissue and I'm letting it know, hey, it's time to move. I'm here. Because when I start channeling and I get into my zone, that is, I'm there. I am making business happen, and I know why they're there, and they allow it, though. That's the thing, 'cause it has to be collaborative. Okay, because it's not going to work as great if it's not as collaborative. Okay, so all of this they're guided to me. So I will basically break up all the myofascial tissue with my rattle. And then if they're really out of alignment, I will do a reflexology with my reflexology tools. And what that's doing is that's jump starting their rest and breath system from the feet. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is start moving the energy, because let's be honest, the energy in the feet is not being grounded into Mother Earth.
Yeah.
So it's stagnant, it's stuck, right? So I have to encourage it to move because it doesn't know how to move. And so the somatic release is basically breaking up all the crystallized and the crystallization. So the disease process works like this. So a thought becomes a discomfort, and then that discomfort starts to crystallize, and then the crystallization starts to set in the dis-ease process. So there's a whole process that goes into not feeling well. It doesn't happen overnight. So, but what you do is you start with the feet, and then, the cups are sitting there soaking as I'm doing all this. And then as long as everything's good and they're not having any discomfort, I'll keep the cups on while I'm doing the Biofield tuning. And I will do weighted tuning forks on each individual cup. And what that's doing is that's sending out this energy vibration. Hey, it's time to heal, right? I'm waking up all of the cellular memory, because again, everything starts in the cellular memory, which is the RNA duplicating into the DNA, which stems down from 6 to 8 generations of ancestors that we hold in our cellular memory. Good, bad, and that's also what our junk DNA is. So our gifts, they consider our junk DNA, because you can't access your junk DNA unless you get rid of stuff.
Are you ready to step into alignment with your soul's purpose and take a real tangible step forward towards your highest potential? Join me for part 4 of the Soul Awakening podcast series, Embodying the Universal Laws, where we deep dive into one of the most powerful principles of manifestation, the law of action. This Tuesday, July 22nd at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we will explore how divine inspiration requires courageous movement and how action becomes the bridge between your dreams and your reality. Tune in live on YouTube, bring your journal, and prepare to activate the path that's been waiting for you to walk. Subscribe and set your reminder. Transformation begins with one action. Join me.
Yeah.
You know what I
Sure.
mean? So you have to make room for it. So anyway, so I'll do that, and then I'll do the Biofield tuning. And what you do is you work 6 feet out, and then you come in. And if you hear a vibration, like I did in that session, and she told me exactly what happened again. I didn't, I was like, you don't have to. But if they do, I'm in my nurturing phase, and I'm holding space. So, that is a part of the process. We hold space for one another. And then what will happen is I will work in that field, and I'll keep tuning it up, because I can hear the frequency pitch change, because you can hear it, because they're like, "Ding!" And it'll be like, "Boo!" And it'll be like, it'll just fall off. So it's amazing when you work with it. And not only that, you can feel it and the way it works. Maybe it's just me, and maybe it's just something that I've become attuned to, but you can practice becoming attuned. Anyone can become a practitioner. But it does take some time to really dive in, because it's an intuitive gift. It really is. I'm guided intuitively. It's not something that just comes and like, I'm just like, oh, I was guided to this modality. Had no idea what it was. So once I'm done with that, I'll pull off the cups, and then I'm going to scrape all of the toxins up the spinal channel. And then I will tune it up again once I'm done doing I call it the suck, smush, and shake it up the spinal channel. Once I'm done with that, then I will go through with my drums and my sound frequency, my chimes, and then just start tuning them the rest of the way up. And now that I have my chimes, and I have the heart chakra one, I can really focus on the heart area. But if they're more spiritual, and you're like a leader, a spiritual leader, and you're already in attuned, I'm there just to tune you up. So what I would do in your session is I might mess with the feet a little bit, depending on how, where you're at. But it would be more focused on facial yoga.
Okay.
And more attunement to your third eye and your chakra, or your crown chakra.
Okay.
Because it's just more of a balancing for you, the heart, the third eye, and the crown chakra. So those would be the main focuses. And I do that for everyone else. But honestly, if I start getting into the third eye and the crown, if they're not ready, because we're going to go over some stuff in a minute. I had to be really careful with this, because I was dibble dabbling, and I had one of my clients that was not ready. It was in 100% resistance. Hey, I did my part. I'm going to tell you a quick story, and then we'll get into the emotions. So I had a client that was getting ready to go on a ayahuasca event, retreat, whatever, for like 3 days. Do it month or lunch, morning, dinner. You're doing it throughout the whole entire day. And he was not in the position, because again, I'm intuitive. I read you when you come in. So, and I try, it just does. I know who I attract, because I know who I am. And once you learn that, you can set up the boundaries. But anyway, I was guided, and I listened to all of this stuff, and I was doing hamstring, because I can do different modalities. Like wherever you're having issues, I can do cupping and massaging there. So with your legs, that has a lot to do with moving forward. Okay. And if you've repressed a lot of movement over your journey, and you have someone that's coming in and stirring up all of these emotions, and you're not ready to face them. So I had to come back the next day and give him sound frequency healing, because he was like, I am weeping. I'm like, I did my job.
What is sound frequency healing, if you had to define that to somebody?
It's basically, I just use my sound bath, my singing bowls, and my gongs and my chimes. So I'll just come and play frequencies for an hour, give them a sound bath, because they're not ready for another tune-up. For the Biofield tuning, because there's so much going on. They need another session is what that means. Beautiful thing is, though, is he did go to his retreat and it was amazing, but I wouldn't have done that to anyone. Okay, let me be honest, but I was guided to have him release those emotions.
Yeah.
His guys were like, please release these, and I was like, are you sure? And I was like, because I didn't realize how powerful this modality is. Like that was proof in the pudding. Like I wanted proof because I used to be a believe it to see it kind of person. So my guys were like, all right, let's show you. Is it really that important? Well, I was scared by how powerful it was, because I literally did suck up all the emotions, stir them up, and move them. But if you're not willing to release what I moved, then you're stopping the process. So,
yep.
So I was nice and I did a sound bath for him, and he was good. So that I learned to not tune it up like that unless I'm being guided to. And if I'm being guided to, I'm going to let you know. You're going to feel it.
Yeah.
As a practitioner, because you have to be allowing of what the process is providing.
Yeah, exactly. That's a key, everybody. You gotta, as the receiver of a practice, or the one that's going through the healing process, it's key that we are the ones that's consenting, that are opening up to healing and releasing the energy. Because if we don't, then it may not fully do that process for us and leave our being, because it's only up to our own self, being a free will, sovereign human being on this planet in a world of free will. That means that other beings cannot do this for us when it comes to our individual being. So therefore, we have to be the one to command that in our own space and allow that process to happen. So we can get all the help in the world we want. We can use different tools, practices, teachers, study, read, all these different things. But if we're not applying it to our life, doing it with our own consent, with our own free will, then there's only so far you're going to get. Yeah. And it's definitely key.
Yeah. And I forewarned him that what he was asking me, because I showed him the emotional chart. Okay, so if we're working one-on-one and you're having issues and you're like, okay, Heather, I have a hamstring. And I'm like, all right, where's the emotion stored? Or point to that spot. And I'm going to look at my emotion chart and I'm going to be like, all right, this is the emotion that's stored there. And we're going to move it. So you have to, and he said he was ready, and he was, but there was so much that I think that he had hidden from himself.
Mm-hmm.
I just think he just needed extra love and support. I think that's more of what it was. Plus I'm just that big old shine sometimes too, and he just needed that. But I did. Yeah. I told him, I was like, because anytime, because the memories that it's pulling up, you stored them for a reason. Your conscious mind stored them and hides them so well for a reason, because it obviously, whatever it was that hurt you so bad that you had to develop a coping mechanism to get through that circumstance. Now, when the emotions come up, you have to be willing, like you said, to release them, because if not, then I just think there was just too much stored in his emotional body in that area. And I really did my, as a practitioner, I was like, because I wanted, again, but I'll definitely, small doses, I won't do that again. Yeah. I learned. I was like, don't mess with the legs. and all the spinal channel at the same time. But that's why I said my light workers usually I can do back up because you're not having grounding issues. When I have to work with the feet, I mean, I'll tune your feet up, but if I have to get into the root, man, there's intense emotions. So that root chakra, grounding you in the mother Gaia, like, are you safe?
That's that fear, that's that pain, that's that anger, that's that resentment.
Yes.
The current life traumas. Oh my gosh.
All the programming, woe is me.
The lack mindset. Oh my gosh.
It's all being highlighted right now.
Yep.
So
absolutely. So would you like to go ahead and get into our presentation of the topic? All right. So let's see. Where did we leave off? Okay. Yeah, so Biofield tuning a little bit more.
A little Biofield tuning it's just a technique that uses tuning forks. And again, it uses our body's electromagnetic field, our auric field, or a biofield. So we definitely we produce energy. We've known that. So and the biofield is a network of energy that surrounds the body and permeates the body. Again, this is about 6 feet both ways. And COVID, fun fact, how far did we have to stay away, Marka?
6 feet, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes. So, and what were they trying? Yeah, we're just gonna leave it there. Because disturbances in the biofield can lead to physical, emotional, and mental issues. I think it just chimed in right there on it.
So is the biofield also known as the aura? Okay. Yeah, so the aura, for everybody out there that's heard of aura, you can think of it also as the aura too.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep, it's your auric body. Yep. And then the tuning forks just send certain frequencies to that specific area that you're working with. Now, I use weighted forks, and I also use chakra forks once I'm finished. So you can see the weighted forks right there. And as you can see, the root is about 194 hertz. And then your soul star is 272. So, and then the heart, always working with the heart. A lot of blockages in the heart, because originally this was called a heart activation. Is the original name of it, because I'm working with the heart. Because at the end of the day, when you're creating, you can create from the root, the sacral solar plexus, skip the heart, go through the throat, third eye, through the crown, and then it's going to be built on a false foundation. So that's why the heart's so important. And that's why having a heart-based business is your life's purpose. And that's why we do what we do.
Okay.
So yeah, and it just shows you the heart's 136, throat's 141, third eye, where's the throat? Oh, throat 141, third eye is 221, and crown is 172. But yeah, I use weighted forks, but I also use tuning forks as well.
Okay.
But those are the forks that I'll use on top of the cups. So what I'm doing at that point is, I feel what I've been guided is I'm actually energetically sending like needles to it in the cups. You know what I mean? Like, that's because it's vibrating. It's sending those vibrations into the cups. So it's actually activating and stimulating a response in that area that I'm stimulating. And of course, cups are going to be all up along your spinal channel, because the whole goal is to clear all the energy through the crown by the end of it.
Yeah, because our being is basically like a vibratory electromagnetic field, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then
That's our aura and biofield. Same.
Step into a sacred space of nature, wisdom, and community at the Ascended Masters Nature Retreat, August 15th to 17th. That's the power of connecting with Ascended Masters in a supportive community. If you're seeking that kind of profound spiritual experience, join us for the Ascended Masters Nature Retreat this August 15th through 17th in the beautiful Zaleski State Forest near Hocking Hills, Ohio. This 3-day camping retreat, hosted by Marcus, Crystallite of Sacred Light, offers a unique opportunity to connect with the energies of Ascended Masters, including Saint Germain, Kuan Yin, Yeshua, El Morya, and more. Participate in flow shops focused on mind-body emotion alignment, crystal healing, and working with different rays or flames of light. Enjoy the nature center, beach and lake activities, and hiking trails during your free time. All plant-based meals are provided. Tickets: 1 day for $55, 2 days for $99, or all 3 days for $122. Register now with the link in the description or visit Sacred Light Retreats. Spaces are limited. Questions? Text Marcus Crystallite at 513-238-5580.
You have to do your own work, and that includes getting and receiving work from others and clearing your own energetic channels. Yep, that's it.
yeah, so here's just like a little graphic for people so they can kind of get a better idea of what this field can look like. And then you'll even see other diagrams where they kind of have like different arrows and tracks running in different directions, upward and downward through the being, showing the way that the electromagnetic energy flows through the being.
And the toroidal field.
Yep, the toroidal field.
Yep, and that's what I'm working with. So if you think about it, when I'm doing in the cups, I'm putting all along there, or I'm using my tuning forks all along each chakra.
Mm-hmm.
But what we're doing in the biofield tuning is that's what that is. It's working in the toroidal field. It's basically in that electromagnetic, and we're just balancing the hemispheres, the masculine and the feminine, on each side.
Yeah.
So basically, if you go from the left, you're gonna be like, okay, what happened on your feminine energy around this time? And then you can kind of get an idea of events that happened, and they can process that. And I work with that, and they don't have to tell me. I just ask, and they're like, again, if they want to say something, they can, and we can work through it. But I will invite them in to release it. And if they do, then I want to work that area. So, and I might work that chakra again too, with the weighted fork on the actual cups.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because that vibration. So like, the way I like to teach this type of stuff is how Nikola Tesla says, think of everything as energy, vibration, and frequency, if you want to know the answers to the universe.
Mm-hmm.
So I think of us as like these kind of like ever-changing, like vibratory shifting fields, and the vibrations that you interact with your vibratory field are going to then shift the vibration of your vibratory field because of the frequency of that vibratory field that is interacting with your vibratory field. And it's just a continuous process happening. And with that means if you're attuning yourself, so attuning basically, I guess if you want to explain it, is kind of just like changing the rate of your vibration. It's kind of like attuning, so to say. So the more that you're changing your vibration, you would be doing it because of the behaviors that you'd be doing, or because of energies that you would be taking in, or the energies that you would be putting out. And the more you're consistently doing a certain energy or vibration, then the more that repetition and consistency will turn into a pattern. And then that pattern will turn into like an octave, and it'll manifest into your life more. And the more you can get consistent with the energy and vibration that you're creating repetition with, then the more you program yourself to that, and the more you embody that, and the more you manifest that.
Yeah.
And that's what we all do here. We do it as athletes, do it as musicians, we do it as artists, practitioners. We all do it in our own way. We just have different ways of perceiving it and thinking about it.
Yes, well said. Yes, absolutely. And I'm a firm believer, because I've studied yoga, QHHT, and it all goes hand in hand, because I do QHHT as well. And I can do some of these sessions and tap into some of these traumas that are stored in these, like the balanced root chakra. So with the attunement, this is how you would feel. Like, what does a balanced root chakra look like? And I love the spinal channel, because that's basically the attunement is designed to waken up all your senses in the spinal channel and make all connections to all your vertebrae, because that is the connection to divine. And when it gets blocked, and when we have poor posture, and a lot of our individuals today have,
the hunch,
and it's really impacting them. And you can understand by looking at you were talking about habits and behaviors. If you just watch their mannerisms, you can see some of their traumas just by looking at them, their language, their neurolinguistic behavior. So it's just amazing how much the body will speak once you're aware and attuned to it.
Yeah.
So, did you want to go over this? Or?
The root chakra?
Yeah, I'll let you go over it.
Oh, man. Whew. So, the root chakra, let's see what you have. You have feel protected, cared for, and loved, even if you're alone. Yep, I love that, because, the root chakra connects to your groundedness to the earth and the physical life, and with that comes stability, security, and I like to call it inner peace as well, because you have that feeling within yourself of just like, you're here, you're meant to be here, there's nowhere else you're supposed to go, and where you are and what you're doing is exactly where you need to be in that moment, and that you're going to have exactly what you need in the moment that you need it. And the more that you just keep on doing the things that are going to make sure you're in that space through your actions, then you're just going to have it automatically. So then you also have feel present in your body. I like that one too, because grounding with your root chakra is also being energetically grounded into your physical body. And basically, like, what that means is, like, you're not kind of mentally floating, or you're not kind of drifting off into other dimensions or focusing on the past or the future, but you're just present in your body, and you feel secure again, and you feel like you can really just be yourself. You don't have anything to prove, you don't have anywhere to go, and can really just take the steps that you need, knowing that this life is going to unfold as it needs to for you. So then you can feel your basic needs are covered. So yeah, again, this one is your foundation, which also means it's like your survival center in your human life. And the more that this root chakra is grounded, the more you're just going to naturally attract those resources, as well as those interactions as well. You'll just go out, you'll just go to the store, but then you'll meet this person at the store, and then it'll just give you something that just shifts you, and you just don't expect it. Those are the kind of things that come in whenever you're just grounded to life, and you just allow it to come to you. And I know for myself, the more I started getting grounded in life, I just started having interactions every day that I didn't expect, and I'll just have opportunities that I never even thought, because I would stop trying to force things. I would stop trying to kind of like clog up my channels, so to say, by continuing to force my energy out. And just surrendering in my feminine, and just allowing things to come to me, knowing that I'm setting up the spaces I need to, I'm putting myself where I need to, and doing things to get myself in a position, and it just comes. So
Yeah.
it's a really good balance, that yin and yang of providing that masculine stability and then allowing your feminine to be able to express and just receive.
Yes, the receiving aspect is a lot of what we're seeing right now, because this is where a lot of the, well, we'll get to that in a minute once we get into the sacral, because we'll get into but I love the fact that you're resilient. This is where this is what earlier I was talking about. I needed to go into the void because of this eclipse season, because I'm being asked to peel layers back. It's because I'm being asked to be resilient, right? To reground in, to root in, and to actually transmute things that I myself have, because I do past life regressions. I'm working on past lives. So I'm working on multidimensional stuff, but it was a huge cycle close that I've been working on. So, but resiliency is key, because then you then you start to receive, because you allow it, because you get out of the way.
I feel like resilience also can kind of keep you out of victim mindset, so to say.
Yes, because if you're a victim, you're going to stay right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that is basically your foundation, where you're coming from, your environment, basically your immediate resources. So.
All right. Do you care if we just move to the next one?
Yeah.
All right, sacral. Oh boy.
This one's a fun one. I'll say I can do this one. So the sacral looks like, if you're in balance, you're really creative. You allow things to flow. You don't expect, you don't control. You just allow and you receive. You're passionate, not only physically, but also about your goals and your interests. This is the energy that creates not only babies, but businesses and empires and, good things, legacies. There's a lot of beauty in the sacral energy. You can feel joy even for simple things. And that's because all of your immediate needs are met. And now you'll be able to, dive into more of your creativeness and enjoy the simple pleasures sometimes. You have a good relationship with money. This is a big one. You're not in the fear, because fear will stop your abundance. And money problems store in your sacral chakra. Just saying. Anxiety and overstimulation, it stores right here. So be very aware of that. It's one of the most center. It's probably the center that needs most of the work, because of the death rebirth cycle. And Scorpio rules that. So just think about it. It's the death and rebirth process. So you're aware of your sexuality and you feel comfortable expressing it. We need we need divine feminine, divine masculine energy, and it needs to be balanced. And we're working to balance it, because, the toxic masculine, the toxic femme, that's being basically, there's a big light being shined on all of these behaviors right now. And that's what this whole nodal shift was about. Letting go of perfectionism, go back to simplicity. Don't escape our responsibility of how we got here.
That's right.
Pisces being the scapegoat. These are the shadow things, but the beautiful things about, Pisces is it connects us. They're the mystic, and the Virgos are going to help us create and build this new earth that we're waiting, that we're creating now, and then you're able to connect intimately with others. And this right here, was one of the biggest lessons for me. And it taught me a lot, was intimacy. Because one of my patterns is I'm a people pleaser. Well, if you're a people pleaser, then you wear rose-colored glasses, my Pisces. Let me just be honest, my Pisces. Because I wear rose-colored glasses because I'm mutable, my Virgo. So I'm able to change and morph and work on myself and change and do all these things. While then next thing you know, you're a whole different person. You don't recognize yourself. And then you're in a situation like, whoa, what just happened? That's where I'm at right now. And that cosmic awakening, like, wow, you know, and you don't even recognize you're doing it though, you know, because it's so habitual, you know, and so that was my behavior. I'm good with this. Ooh.
The solar plexus.
I love the eye in the middle, you know, because that is the eye of, you know, of our stomach. So our eye of our power.
The raw right there.
Yeah. So basically your mind and your body are connected and aligned. And this is, again, the chakra. That's what I'm visioning when I'm moving, when I'm literally scraping the energy up their chakra channel. Mm-hmm. I'm scraping it up. And that's exactly what I'm envisioning. And your thoughts materialize. You know, what you feel and you put power and you put, you know, and you project that energy into, you know, that information is going to materialize and manifest. You prioritize your health and your inner peace over superficial interests. You start letting some of the things go, right? What burdens can get your levels, you know, your stress levels down to a 0, and you feel confident and secure about yourself. This is a big one, because this is really sometimes when you're going through a transformation, sometimes you can be, you get, what do they call it? Oh my gosh. I forget what it's called. We'll come back to that. I remember. But you'll have willpower to do and change anything in your life.
Yeah.
So and then you have your goals and your plans and you're ready to achieve them. Oh, that's the beauty. And you love and accept yourself for all that you are. The good, the bad. Because we are light and dark aspects. And when we run and hide, like for me, I struggled with perfectionism, the Virgo. And that's where I'm doing my shadow work. It's because I have to, she's got to go. She's got to go. And I got to go. I got to go mull that whole thing over. So, which is good. I mean, you know, that's where that self-love comes from. I do it because I love myself. So, and, you know, I'm not exempt from needing 4 things coming up. Or experiences moving through me. You know, I'm just like everyone else. So
well said.
Oh, and then the heart chakra, my favorite. So this is exactly why I started Heart Alchemy Wellness, was because I wanted to be able to make a real change. And I know that I personally have created very powerful businesses, but it wasn't from my heart.
Yeah.
So, and it was on that false foundation. So this is why I'm like, I can't do something for someone else if my heart is not aligned anymore. So you feel curious about life and experiences, and you're not afraid. You're fearlessly yourself. You are consciously awake. And you know what is right and what is normal, right? Your body knows when something's, you know, if you're in a good situation or when you're out of alignment, when you're kind of starting to steer out of alignment.
Mm-hmm. That empathy center.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And you don't, and you have very diversified interests. It's not all about yourself. It's about the collective, the oneness. We're starting to get into the higher channels. and you feel ready to expand yourself even more. Like what we're doing right now, heart-centered businesses, co-creating, collaborating with love. And you can't always love again. I have gone through several layers of Heather. I've been married. I had 2 7-year relationships, and I honor and respect all of them. They all taught me a whole bunch about myself. And guess what, guys? It was never about them. It was never about them, and it was always about me. Okay, so we have to be accountable. Mm-hmm. This is where the escapism and this Pisces and Heather has to go. I have to be accountable for my own actions. Yeah. And you can give and receive love. You open your heart. You're able to give without needing something in return. And you're able to receive. For me, it was more receiving, because I put those rose-colored glasses on and I didn't even know myself. So I was like, I didn't even know how to give or receive. Imposter syndrome is what that was earlier. Imposter syndrome.
It's easy one to get.
Yeah. And like, that's exactly what happened, with my insurance business. It was imposter syndrome. It wasn't from my heart, and it's not from the heart and it's not in alignment. It's never going to withstand the test of time.
Right.
Throat chakra, probably one of my favorite, because I have been working on clearing my own, because when I quit speaking, when I quit speaking, I'm a speaker. And when I quit speaking, I started getting blockages in my throat chakra. And so I've been singing and trying to open up that channel, and it's opening up, but it's been a lot of work. It says you're able and comfortable to express your feelings. I remember the first time my little people-pleasing self had to speak up against one of my girlfriends in a band. She was trying to bring someone else in. I'm like, we're not supposed to be making decisions without our other person. I was like, that's not in alignment. Well, I got kicked out of the group because I spoke up. So that's okay. That was our agreement, right? We're co-collaborators. You don't do that. Yeah. So your girl had to speak up. I lost a friend, but that's okay. You say and do what you think, and it makes you feel positive, right? You're going to have, positive reinforcement to, I say what I say and I mean what I say, and just say it with and honor other people. You really have to honor, how you use your words, and always be respectful, because you don't know what's going on the receiving end, because they might not, that's why I always remind people, positive, loving words to everyone, because you don't know what kind of day they're having. And it may make or break them, It's just the way that it's just an honest truth. You know who you are, and you're not afraid to show it. You feel motivated by your life purpose, and you express your ideas without fear. And I was afraid that people were going to think that I am the odd one out. Like my family, I come from a family of nurses and practitioners. So, it's obviously in my blood and my nature to work with the healing arts. Yeah. But my philosophies and the way that I see elements and the way that they see it. Well, here's the deal. I'm a firm believer that what I do, if you do attunements, then that should keep you from the nurse and the hospital. Now, sometimes when we don't know, or our parents didn't know better. Okay, so we have 2 different stories of what's going on. You know what I mean? Yeah. And this is the part of the disconnect, which we can totally do a whole podcast about how they disconnected us. And this is one of those roots right there.
Big time.
So, and we haven't been able to express it. But yeah, so this has been a big thing for me, coming out, speaking out against, like, hey, it's your emotions that are making you sick, man. And I'm like, well, I can read your emotions. Mm-hmm. And when I went toe to toe with my mom on an energetic level, because she was just asking, what do you think's going on? And I just was like, boop, 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 boop. And she just kind of never really, she respected me. You could see it, but she was like, woo.
Yeah.
Like,
that could be a lot.
Yeah, because when they're in the 3D, they don't understand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't understand that we create our own reality. And sometimes we are a victim of our reality too. So not all of us, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of stuff that can go into that.
Mm-hmm.
And we all need healing, you know. It's just a matter if you tune up, then you're not going to need the major healing. And if you love your vessel and you take care of it, you eat right, you sleep right. So then you get to express all your ideas without fear.
Those daily routines.
Yes, big time. Well, that's why I do the daily vibes with Heather Lynn, is because that simple 2-minute lymphatic release, if I don't do it, I get, again, that's how I keep my throat chakra clear, because it's keeping the top of your, because what I'm working through is past life stuff, and it was stuck right here in the top of my thymus.
Oh yeah, higher heart too.
Yeah. So it's right here at the lower, so it's like right connecting through my throat chakra. Yeah. So, and I do tapping and EFT too as well, because it is wonderful modality. But we can move on to. Then we have the third eye, and I love this one.
Go third eye.
Yes, you can read this one if you want.
Okay, so we have you are intuitive and trust your intuition. Oh, I love that one.
Mm-hmm.
So then you feel you have a lot to express in many ways. Love that as well. You feel connected to nature. Yeah. You know, a fun fact is, so the third eye chakra governs parts of your physical body, and just like every other chakra does as well, of the 7. And third eye governs basically any part of the brain, the pineal, the pituitary glands, the eyes, and the nose. So that being said, there's actually this like crystalline plate that's in our skull, and it's inside of like every being of Earth. And the crystalline plate is like electromagnetic. So you are like electromagnetically picking up on like waves from the Schumann resonance. And then those waves go off and into that crystal plate inside of our brain. And it'll give us like the warning or like the guidance or sense of needing to leave somewhere because something's about to happen, or a shift is happening on the planet. Just like all the animals, and why animals are able to do that still today.
Yes.
So the more that we cleanse our glands, the more that we activate our mind's eye, the more we naturally can feel the divine guidance in our life, which is our intuition. If you guys go back to what we just read, the intuition center, or our guidance. So it's really definitely a key to keep that third eye cleansed, and like truly on the level of conscious understanding. So then you can be more in tune with your inner nature that can guide you through any amount of chaos or any amount of change or any amount of confusion on the outside world. So then also it says you constantly have new ideas. So it's like your perception center as well. The more clear and open that is, the more you're able to just naturally channel different ideas and tap into different time spaces mentally as well. So your imagination is very active. You can change your mind easily. You solve problems easily on your own. You easily find the right words to communicate your thoughts.
Well, I love that.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, like, you know, processing before acting, or like processing before speaking, just so then you're not reacting out of like lower nature, out of a triggered state, or out of a place that's unintentional, when it is okay to take a moment and pause and maybe even take a breath, process, and really try to consciously react or give feedback to the scenario at hand, rather than react on impulse or react from a, you know, lower nature of like anger or a shadow space. And we typically have better interactions that way.
Yeah, and now is the time not to definitely be reacting in any sort of way if you're out of alignment because of the energy. Because let's be honest, you'll regret it. Just be very mindful. Wait a day. Wait a day.
Yeah.
Wait a day. If it's major, like if it was, just wait a day, because it's going to be a time anything that's being taken out, it's permanent. So that's just the best way to say that.
Yeah.
You know, I've never, so the crown chakra, I love this. I'm just going to just read this because it says you rarely suffer from headaches. I never have really had headaches ever. I've never had a, let me be honest, like, unless I've cried, like, you know, and obviously that would make sense because that's the emotional body reacting.
Yeah.
Closing off, you know, you're closing in. Yeah. You can have a conversation without taking things personally. And that's one thing I've had to learn, is not to take things personally because of my sensitivity. But I also had to learn boundaries and keep some of those people out because of my sensitivity. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot that goes with that. The street goes both ways. You can see yourself without forming a position. You know, I think that's what it says. What does it say? Oh, negative judgment. Yep, there you go. Good enough. Negative judgments. Again, that's one thing that's been a big part of my life journey, is learning not to judge things as black or white, good or bad, good and evil, because there is a time and space for all of it.
Yeah. And
it's divine timing and it's cyclical timing. And we're all in this together. So you can see yourself without, your senses are sharp, but you're not oversensitive. And again, I had to learn to quit being oversensitive. You feel inspired often. You're able to be open to new ideas. That's a big one. That's a big one, being open and available. You can receive guidance. And this is actually how I channel all of the knowledge that I'm being guided during these sessions, is through my crown chakra. It's my soul and your soul collaborating. But when I'm working with a lot of the energy, you know, I'm getting downloads through my crown chakra of where your energy is stored. And you like learning and you adapt to change easily. And that is the crown chakra. And I love this little study right here. So this was a study where 2 students took home plants. And as you can see, the one on the left was bullied and the one on the right was praised, or vice versa, depending on mirror effect on her. But as you can see, the one that was bullied, look how withered, wilted. It definitely doesn't have the nutritional content and mineral balance that the one that was praised does, because you could see the yellow and the discolorization and the leaves. And what this shows is how words, and we're going to use this also as energy, okay? Because words are a vibrational energy. So an energy being projected in a harmful way, you can see in this study it firsthand. The plant was dying. What do you think about that? And then the one that was praised, it's living abundantly and, you know, has no issues with the minerals. Looks like it's well taken care of. And it's actually taking that knowledge from the root and taking it all the way to the leaves. And the leaves are green. So it's carrying all of that beautiful, loving energy, and it's being resonated throughout the entire plant. So I thought that was cool because this is a good interpretation of how energy works.
It's like our chakra column, right?
Yes, yes. And the bullied one is one that is out of alignment. And the one that is fully in alignment is the one that looks like praise, because the aura is praising it because you've been energetically connected to all 7 channels and you're receiving your divine messages. So,
Wow. Yeah, and there's also I know you guys out there may be familiar with this. I can't remember his name. I think his name's like Emoto, but I think it's Dr. Emoto, and he does the snowflake study.
yes, and I was actually going to send some stuff and we're going to talk about that. Yes. And that's what I was looking for. Was it the snowflake? Because I thought it was where they freeze it.
Yeah, the free sets.
Okay, yeah. I was looking for images and we were going to discuss it. Right away. Yes, I love that study.
Yep.
And it's the same thing. It's the same thing. And that's why the Biofield tuning during the Chakra Wave Tuning modality, that's why it's really impactful, because I'm stirring everything up, but then I'm going back in and I'm balancing the engine and the battery, because we're an electromagnetic field. So
That is right. So as we wrap up, let's go through like maybe one or two real quick benefits, and benefits of Biofield.
okay, clarity, and it will actually help improve the third eye. If there are any blockages there, the frequencies will bring you back into alignment. Basically, the physical ailments, it's profound because that's where the cupping comes into play.
Yeah.
So the physical, you can get pain relief, stress relief, and it's usually pain relief because you have nodules. Most every individual will have nodules from where they're storing, and they're crystal nodules. So the benefit would be relief from pain and mobility, because if you have crystallization in some of these chakra points, you're going to lose some of your flexibility and some of your mobility.
Yeah. Potentially some of the organs too, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. And what was the other one?
Emotional.
Ooh, on the emotional, pretty much what you're doing is you're stirring up anything that's out of alignment, and then we are mixing it up and we're shooting it through the crowns. They're getting, how do I want to say it? Basically, they're going to feel, a lot of times they'll immediately feel lighter.
Yeah.
Like they've had a lot of space.
So you could release basically like inner child trauma,
yes,
like
past life,
shadow traumas, like things like that.
Yes. If there is guilt, shame, fear of moving forward, all of these emotions are released. So it's 100% an emotional release.
Yeah. It's also great for inflammation too, right?
Yes. Yes.
For like athletes and things like that.
Yes. Yeah. And I also wanted to, as they're doing it, I'm going to start adding in my stones on the bottom half. So making some additions. But on the emotional, it's definitely just releasing the past life emotion, because that's where it stores is in the cellular memory and the myofascial tissue.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, great. So for everybody out there, where can they find you at? Where can they connect with you best? And where can they be a part of any of your programs, services, and wonderful other spaces that you offer?
Yes, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram. You can find me under Heart Alchemy Wellness or Heather L. Thomas on Facebook. I have a bit link. I'll go ahead and include it below so that you can actually check out all the retreats and events, and also all of my courses.
Why do so many seekers say their lives changed after one weekend in nature? Could a drum beat really open your heart? Come find out at Soul Family Rising. On September 13th and 14th, journey with us to Lake Hope in the heart of Zaleski State Forest, Ohio, for a 2-night elemental drum medicine retreat like no other. Surrounded by ancient trees and fresh air, you'll step into a true soul family, where connection, healing, and laughter are all part of the rhythm. Our flow shops are led by an incredible team. Christina Cheyenne of Sacred Vibrations, Victoria Ann Ilg, Heather Lynn of Heart Alchemy Wellness, and Marcus Christolite of Sacred Light. They'll guide you in elemental practices that bring balance and clarity, tapping into earth, water, fire, air, and spirit. Plus, don't miss our special guest, Chuck Wilson of Walkin' Drums, a master shamanic drum maker whose drum flow shop is truly unforgettable. Whether you're new to drumming or a seasoned spirit traveler, you'll feel the power of rhythm to awaken and heal. All meals, blessed with love and gratitude by Grandmother Katie Singing Eagle, are included, with vegetarian options so everyone feels nourished. Bring your kids, your parents, your friends. This retreat is truly family-friendly, with ages 8 and under free, 9 to 16 just $20, and adults only $55 for the whole weekend. Camping, meals, flow shops, all covered. Just bring yourself, an open heart, and a sense of wonder. Space is limited, so register now by scanning the QR code or visiting the link on our flyer. Questions? Text Marcus Christolite at 513-238-5580. This September, let's rise together. Your soul family is waiting.
Wow, that does it for this episode. Thank you, Heather, for your time and sharing all the knowledge and wisdom for the collective. And I trust that everybody will be able to process some pretty wonderful things to help move through their layers. And if they have any questions, they can always reach out to you, and they can book services with you, be a part of your programs, and much more. For everybody out there, thank you for tuning in and being a part of this episode. Wholeness and balanced love. (2023) Mother Gaia, third dimensional planet, ascending. Thank you from the Sacred Light Broadcast Network and Sacred Light Productions for tapping in and tuning in to all live and replay content, holistic, conscious, for your empowerment. Tap in to the Christ light within. Please like, share, and subscribe. And remember that you are the one that you have been looking for. Enjoy this content. If you would like to collaborate or receive production through myself, Marcus Crystallite, direct message or email me at marcustut23@gmail.com to discuss details. Wholeness and balanced love. Ashe.